When I was a teacher, whilst trying to explain a tricky concept, I accidentally locked a pupil in a cupboard.
David's team.
OK. What was the concept? Was it the concept of imprisonment?
It was a maths lesson. I was teaching the topic of probability and chance.
What's the chances of getting locked in the cupboard?
Well, that became an extra learning objective. That wasn't the main one. I was trying to get across the idea of
Narnia.
Yeah. I was trying to get them to understand how to explain the concept of probability. So the idea was that if you had, like, an alien arrive on Earth, how would you explain probability?
Which would be the first thing you'd do, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, actually,
Put the laser down, let me talk to you about maths.
Yeah.
Romesh, what age group was this?
So this is year 8, so 11, 12 years old.
So...
what happened was I needed somebody to pretend to be an alien.
OK.
So I selected a child from the class. I didn't just go out and look for one.
How did you select? Did you go for the little green one with the pointy ears?
Well, no, actually, what it was is I thought I was doing a good thing because, you know, you get some kids that are sort of... that have problems making friendships and stuff like that. And I had a kid like that in the class, so I thought I'd bring him out of himself.
You chose the kid that got bullied to be the alien. So the rest of the class can point at him and go, alien.
I mean, to be fair, I thought we were just playing a game. I didn't realise it's an Ofsted inspection. So basically what it was, I was trying to make it realistic.
OK.
So I said to him, why don't we pretend this cupboard is like a transformation chamber? You know, you go in the cupboard, you go in as a boy.
Oh, it's just getting worse, isn't it? One of my kids came home from school and described this scene. I'd be down that school like a shot.
And how surprised will you then be to see that teacher on the BBC a few years later?
In the current climate, not surprised at all.
Basically, I said to him, you're going to go into the cupboard, you're going to transform into an alien.
What was the concept again you're trying to teach the kid?
Probability.
Probability.
Yeah.
We haven't got to that bit yet. We're going to find out when he steps out.
Right now we're trying to find out how to transform to an alien right now.
That's what we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to him coming out. We never get that far, do we? What am I talking about?
At the next Ofsted inspection, a small skeleton was discovered.
And they said, what are the chances of that? And they said, well, interesting you should ask that. What were you going to do, though? That's what I want to know. If he hadn't got locked in, what were you going to do?
The idea was that he was going to come out and be the alien, and then I was going to get different kids to...
different kids to... Don't lose confidence.
So, I was going to get different kids to explain to him what probability was. So he was going to be like the dummy alien, and then he'd be like... Boo, 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 and then...
Never to be bullied again.
I can't help feeling that I'm a little bit under attack here.
It's all right, because you may be lying, in which case you're off the hook. Why does it help to understand probability, to get children to explain it to an alien?
So basically, in order to get the idea that a kid understands a concept, them explaining it and that explanation being clear illustrates that they have learnt it completely.
So Romesh, you've sort of left it that he's in the cupboard. He got in.
Yeah.
What happened?
I realised I couldn't open the door to let him out. So I sort of started looking around for other teachers to help me. And they said, actually, the cupboard, it can be opened from the inside. The problem came when I said to him, you're going to have to come out the cupboard, just open it from the inside. And he replied... because he was being an alien.
Right.
So, that extended the problem. And he was in there for 20 minutes.
So he came out in the end, he eventually opened it, he came out, and...
Well, the lesson was ruined.
What are you thinking, David?
I do know that Romesh used to be a maths teacher.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So, and that, you know, education's loss was show business's gain. There were so many gaps in the story, I just...
Yeah, the story wasn't really adding up, right?
Yeah.
Well, a maths teacher.
We think it's a lie, do we?
I think it might be.
It's a lie for all of you. OK. Romesh, truth or lie?
The story is true.
The first time I used eBay, I accidentally bought a canoe instead of a handbag.
David's team.
Well, how did that error occur?
Well, back in the day, when eBay was pretty new, I thought I'd have a little go. And I quite like vintagey stuff and old clothes, although when they delivered, it's not quite as good because they always smell a bit musty and have an air of dead people. But I like the idea.
Did you get that from eBay? Was that you? Sorry, carry on.
So I was scrolling through, as you do, and saw a lovely clutch bag. I know I've lost you all already, haven't I? A clutch bag. A clutch bag is a little bag.
For
that
keeping
you
the
clutch.
pedal from a car in. You have an accelerator bag and a brake bag.
So what are we saying, Alex? You saw a clutch bag, you were miming putting the clutch bag under your arm to get into it, and then you pressed canoe by accident.
In fact, in the modern computers, they've taken the canoe button off the keyboard. Because this kept happening.
OK, you're looking at eBay. What
I'm
happens
scrolling
next?
through.
Right.
It started off at 99p. 99 pence, John. Are you in?
For a vintage bag?
Yeah. You're in. Anyway. Next thing you know, £14. I'm thinking about pulling out.
Yeah.
Because that's quite a lot for a vintage bag. But anyway, on it went.
Yeah.
£32.
And you're still bidding?
You still in, John?
No, I wasn't even in when it was 99. You were wrong about that. You read me wrong there, Alex. I don't know what my body language is telling me.
OK, so the price is going up. You're tracking, that's what they call it.
£32.
You're tracking the bag.
And I think it's a good time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Leave it. Next morning.
Yeah.
Email on the laptop. Congratulations, your bid was successful. You have bought a second-hand red canoe.
It's quite a jump, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a terrible story? There's some fella whose boat was going down. He says, "Don't worry, I've got this covered." Tried to squeeze a family of 5 into a vintage handbag.
So you emailed the canoe man saying, instead of the canoe, could I have the
clutch
handbag that looks like
And he said, I haven't got a clutch handbag to offer.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you've lied, because I bid on a clutch handbag.
So do you think he was luring people in by putting photographs of vintage handbags, which people then bid on and bid on, bid on, whatever they pay, whatever the handbag looks like, they only get a canoe?
Maybe 7 times out of 10, people make do with the canoe. It must have looked into it.
Have you ever seen at the opening night of a film a glamorous starlet turning up with what the commentators are saying is an incredibly large clutch bag? OK. What are you thinking, David?
I think I don't know. What do you think?
There's too much of a gap.
Do you think it's true?
No, I think it's a lie.
I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie?
You all think it's a lie.
It's a lie.
Conclusively a lie.
Conclusively a lie.
OK, Alex, truth or lie?
Silly boys, it was, in fact, true.
Well,
one Friday after school, I swapped our family cat for a scotch egg and a smurf. When my mum found out on Monday morning, she made me swap them back.
Right. Well, when was this, first of all? How old were you?
13.
But more important than how old was he or anything to do with him, the cat What? I mean, seriously, we're very concerned about the cat. I am.
I'm a bit more concerned about the Smurf, if I'm going to be honest.
I'm most concerned, the Scotch egg, what was your logic? Would you hide it under your bed for a whole weekend?
Why don't you three have a little chat, and when you worked out collectively what you're most concerned about, come back to me.
Can I start?
Please do.
Okay.
Please do.
What was the cat called? What kind of cat? What colour, please?
The cat was called Snowdrop, and as the name implies, it was tortoiseshell.
Who did you swap with?
Should I name him?
I don't know, unless he's in prison at the moment and he's...
I don't know, I haven't seen him for a long time. It was a kid who lived on an estate nearby.
Just give us his first name.
Lee.
Just with the Scotch egg, you wanted the Scotch egg. You wanted the Scotch egg so badly that you traded a living mammal for it, and then you just put it under your bed for 48 hours.
To be fair, trading a Scotch egg for a living mammal is exactly what's necessary in the manufacture process of a Scotch egg. You start off... People have decided they have live pigs, but they don't like the live pigs enough. What they want is no pigs, but Scotch eggs.
Right. Why did you want the Scotch egg? I presume for the obvious that you like them and you wanted to eat it.
Yes.
Why didn't you just eat it there and then?
Why didn't I just eat...
You said you swapped them back again on the Monday.
So why did...
That suggests you still had the Scotch
Well, hang
egg
on. I mean,
the
was
Monday.
it the same one, or had you consumed it and then you just had to give a Scotch egg back?
That's right, Rob.
It's like the bloody Welsh Mafia, this. You can't help him out.
Could I get back to the cat? Cats obviously are very territorial, so would the cat not try and come home? Because they normally do if they've gone out away.
He didn't. Not that weekend.
Talk us through the actual exchange process.
I tell you what, Rob, you stand up. We'll go through it. Come on,
I am standing up.
I'll role play it with you. Right. OK, so imagine I've got my family cat in my hand.
All right.
And you in with this hand, you have a Scotch egg.
Where are we now, Rod? Where are we? We're in Wales. Are we in Wales?
We're in Wales.
Oh.
We're in Wales.
Isn't that nice? Let's just take a minute. Let's just take a minute. It's lovely. Go on.
Right. So we're in Wales.
Yeah.
I've got a cat in my hand.
All right.
Right. You've got in this hand a Smurf and a Scotch egg.
Yes.
Right, now we swap them over.
All right, here we go.
Right,
this is how it happens.
This is going to be difficult.
And that, my lord, is the mechanics of the exchange.
Wow. You can put the cat down now.
Gently, Rob, gently, yes.
So what do you think, Lee? Does this sound truthful to you?
I don't think he's shown any affection for Snowdrop, and on that basis alone, I think it can't be true.
Well, weirdly, the exact same reason, I think it is true, because I know him to be heartless.
I can show you some affection, but what do you want to know about Snowdrop? I can show affection with Snowdrop.
All right, how would you stroke him?
Her.
No, got ya. That, you have changed the sex of that cat at least 3 times.
I promise you, even if
You have!
I don't think vets should agree to do that.
It's always been a female cat, Snowdrop.
What are you thinking, Rob? Are you thinking it's the truth?
It's really starting to crumble at the end here, so I'm smelling a lie.
Both saying a lie. My team say lie. We will go with lie.
OK, you're saying lie. Rod, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
I was once arrested by border guards for illegally entering another country.
David's team, what do you think?
Which country?
It was in the mid-90s.
That's not a country.
No. And it was in Eastern Europe, so they changed names very quickly. So I'm not sure. It was either Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia. I don't know which...
You know what stage of its dissolution it was at. Yeah. And what was the problem?
I didn't have my passport.
Right.
Where had you left your passport?
At home.
Who were you with, by the way? Were you on your own? Or
no, I was with a friend from back home, Pete.
Friend from the pit?
No, with a person called Pete.
Is that his real name? Or is that a nickname?
Pete.
Oh, Pete.
No, P-I-T.
Oh, Pete.
Oh, it's like Pete. He's called Pete.
Like Brad Pitt, but Pitt is his first name.
Otherwise, I would say Pete.
Yeah.
We were travelling on something that was called Schönes Wochenend-Ticket. And
that's German for National Express.
No. Now, what it is German for, you can use any train you like as long as it's a slow train.
We have that system with all of our trains. OK, so you get off the train at the border.
You do.
Is it at that moment you realise you don't have your passport?
Yes. So we wanted to go into Czechoslovakia. So I didn't have my passport. So the obvious thing to do is don't go across where the border guards are, but go a mile off into the fields and cross there. If then someone wants to see your passport, you say, oh, I must have lost it.
Roughly how far into Czechoslovakia, in whatever form it was, were you?
I was about, give or take, a mile. I see in the distance, I see like two white lights. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I realise it's a jeep. And then they're driving towards us.
I'm quite gripped by this story.
The jeep then just stopped, and then there is 4 people jumping out with automatic rifles and dogs.
Automatic dogs?
What sort of dogs were they?
I didn't ask for their names, but...
Neither did Alex.
They were terrifying dogs, probably Alsatians or something.
What happened? They're all around you. So
well,
what
they
do
all
they say?
jump out with their rifles, don't they? And then saying, or whatever their language is. So, and then we had to gain the jeep, and then we were driving off into Czechoslovakia, and then we ended up in some woods. One of them jumps out, opens the gate that I didn't even see was there. Then there is some little wooden hut. And was someone in there that spoke German. We got on well with that fella, and our excuse was, they would say, we had no idea that we crossed the border.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then, well, they didn't fully buy it, but they knew there was little point executing us.
What happens then?
And now the funny story begins. They said, you'll have to pay a penalty.
Oh, the Germans and penalties.
That penalty... Then the Czechs drove us back to the German border, handed us over to the German border guards, and then they congratulated us on being the first illegal immigrants from Germany into Czechoslovakia.
Well, there we are. David, what are you and your team thinking?
It's the travel card thing. It just seems right.
No, I think on an emotional level, having spent so long hearing that story, we need it to be true. Yeah. We need something.
We need it to be true,
Yeah.
because a lot of our life went into that.
So
yes,
you're going to
on
say
that
true?
emotional level, I think we have to say true.
You're saying it's true. Henning, truth or lie?
Well, that story is actually true.
I once had to give Alan Hansen a piggyback across a muddy car park because he didn't want to ruin his new suede shoes.
Please, team.
Who is Alan Hansen?
He was...
Are you serious, by the way?
No.
Oh, OK.
No, I think he's the handsome Thunderbirdy one.
That's right, yes.
Where was this?
Old Trafford.
That was the muddy field?
No, the car park outside of Old Trafford.
Oh, it was the car park of Old
Trafford. It was
Trafford.
a very wet, typical kind of northwest day. And
Let's not be northernist.
The car park was actually flooded in some areas and quite wet.
Oh.
And we'd had an evening match. It was an FA Cup replay, and he was joking about his shoes, and I, for a laugh, said, "Just jump on."
And how
I'd
far...
always wanted... How do you think I got to host match of the day?
How far did you take it, him?
It wasn't far. We'd just come out where the studio is, and it was probably from here to that camera over there. Mark Lawrenson said, oh, don't worry, Gabby will give you a lift. And I said, I will. I'm strong.
So Mark Lawrenson suggested it to Alan Hansen to jump on her back.
Who is Mark Lawrenson?
Al said... oh, hang on a second. Al said...
Please don't start impressions, because he will... It's all I ask from you tonight. Please tell me Ronnie Corbett wasn't there.
Is it all right if I jump on your back, Gabby?
Is that Mark Lawrenson or Alan Hansen?
That's Alan Hansen.
And Mark Lawrenson went, hey, go on, jump on her back. And you feel like you were there, don't you? You feel like you were there.
If you're going to come on your Alan Hansen, you've got to be absolutely sure you get Alan Hansen forward. You have that you've been in prodigal Edward, more than you can't say what you see anyway. It doesn't matter there. You've got to come from the back and get up front.
2 words for you. Duncan Bannatyne. That's what you do. Alan Hansen that is woeful defending.
What?
Woeful defending.
Woeful. What are you doing now? That's Harry Seacombe.
So, I still want to focus on the details.
OK.
Has Hansen in any way given you any warning, or has he just lunged and jumped?
To be fair, he did. He kind of went, oh, she wouldn't be able to carry me, and that was a red rag to a bull. I just went, yes, I will.
No, that sounds awful.
I don't know. I get used to those kinds of requests at work, you know?
So what do you think? Could she have done this?
Well, I mean, I'm still not entirely sure who Alan Hansen is. I've got very confused with all these different impressions because they're all quite different.
Well, they just got rid of Duncan Bannatyne. Who always go like, oh, yeah, I do it. This one of us doing it anyway. I'm out. So what are you going to say?
I wish Alan Hansen had a catchphrase. That would have helped me.
He did. You'll never win it with kids.
You'll never wear anything with kids.
You'll never win anything with kids.
That's a phrase you don't want to be taken out of context.
He was referring to Manchester United, who
had children playing for them.
All right, what's it going to be?
I'm sure it's true.
You think it's true?
I don't think it's true. Sorry. I just have this feeling deep inside that Alan Hansen and Mark Lawrenson don't speak to Gabby.
I know what you mean. I've been swayed now.
Since I don't know who any of these people are, maybe you should go with Bob.
OK. Bob will take leadership.
OK.
And responsibility. As we say, it is a lie.
So, Gabby, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Oh.
Sometimes I pretend to have broken something in my house so that when a man comes round to fix it, I can play him at ping pong.
So hang on, just to be clear, what you're saying is you sometimes pretend that there's something broken in your house to get an handyman round so you can what?
So we can play ping pong.
But why'd you get a strange man round to play ping pong?
It's not really a strange man. He's a neighbour, but he's like a handyman. When, like, sometimes, you know, I want to play ping pong, I'll tell him something's
Why
broke.
can't you just tell him you want to play ping pong?
Because... I don't know, I just...
Are you telling me the relationship with your neighbour is so bad that the only way you can get him to come round to your house is by pretending something's broken at your place?
No, it's not that bad. He likes ping pong.
What's he called?
What's he called?
I don't know, I've never met him.
What's he called? Handyman. You could call him Handyman.
But you know, but what's his real name when
What's
when
his real
he's
name?
not
His real
handyman?
name's Paul.
Paul the handyman?
Paul, yeah, Handyman Paul, really, not
And
Paul
how
the
long have you
handyman.
known Paul for?
I've been living there for maybe the past 3-4 years, so
And
yeah. That
how
long.
many times has he played ping pong with you in that?
Oh, loads of times. Always something wrong in my house.
So you might say, what might be broken, for example?
For example, I might say, OK, the light's off in, like, the conservatory or something, and then...
Conservatory? Oh, you're very grime, aren't you? And, so you put all your hip-hop money into a conservatory, and... so how would you go from the lights broken in the conservatory to... Do you want to get him a table tennis?
Because when he comes round and then, say, for example, sometimes it's not broken, I say, I fixed it as he gets there, and I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, just pop in for a quick ping-pong game, man.
David, do you play table tennis?
I do, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Are you good?
And I'm all right.
Okay.
But can you fix a light switch? Otherwise, you've got no chance of playing it.
Absolutely not. No. So how do you serve, David? Do you serve like that, like that?
David always
like
gets somebody
that?
to serve him.
Tinchy, I'd really like to sort of to get an idea of how you move the conversation to ping pong. So let's say you've broken your TV. So how would it go?
I'll be Paul the handyman.
Hello.
I haven't opened the door yet. Is it sticking? I can fix that. Actually, no, I can't, because we're going to have to play table tennis again, aren't we? I know how this goes.
When someone knocks your door, like, knock, knock, I say, who is it? I don't open and say, who is it?
OK.
Who is it?
Paul the handyman, you phoned me about 3 minutes ago about your television. Who do you think?
Oh, hello, Paul. Yeah. Open the door, you're in. What's up?
What's up? You tell me, it's your telly.
That's what
I see what is happening, dude.
Your relationship with him is very sarcastic.
You try being his ping pong mate, you start getting sarcastic.
How do you introduce ping pong?
I say, oh, yeah, do you want a drink? And then he'll be like, I'm all right. And I'm like, do you want a game? Kind of simple.
And you give him the special drink and he wakes up in the table tennis.
It's like...
Now, answer me this. What is he wearing?
What's he wearing?
When he wakes up.
When he wakes up?
Have you dressed him as a professional table tennis player?
No.
He's strapped to a mannequin. I'm sick of this!
So what are you thinking, Lee? Is this looking plausible?
Gabby?
I think it's true because he doesn't want to be too upfront with Paul, the handyman, so he invites him round to fix...
Handyman Paul.
Sorry, Handyman Paul. With Handyman Paul for ping pong. Ping pong Paul.
Even that name is better. Ping pong Paul.
Ping pong Paul.
So what are we thinking?
I think it's a lie.
So Romesh says it's a lie.
Yeah. I think it's true.
Gabby says it's true. It's got to be a lie.
It's a lie. OK, Tinchy, truth or lie?
Everything I was saying was all true.
As a teenager, I used to terrorise my neighbourhood with a game I invented called Theft and Shrubbery.
What were the rules of Theft and Shrubbery?
Can I first of all say my memories of this are a bit sketchy?
Always handy for this game.
No, but I'm an older gentleman. They're more like just fingerprints on an abandoned handrail.
Even while you poetically describe the ageing process, another part of your brain is inventing the rules of a fictional game.
It's Theft and Shrubbery.
Yeah.
It's a game that I played in my youth, in my teens, on the Lakes Estate in Middlesbrough. I would probably be 14 or 15. I hope that's all the information you need.
As to what this game involved?
Yes, of course.
Of course. In which case, I'm satisfied and there's no need to tell me. What were the rules?
There would have to be a gang of you. I would usually be with Staver and Bagger.
Well, I didn't realise you knew hobbits as a child.
Neil Overall, Jerry Dungaree's son.
Didn't take his father's name.
Hated him. So, and Gary Cheeseman would be there. The reason he was called Cheesy is because his mum used to give him a cheese. Do you know the cheese slice?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To take out with him when we were hanging around the shops and that, because she thought it was good for his spots. And she wanted to personally slice.
Surely it's because of his surname Cheeseman.
No.
Surely that was part of it.
Do you know, Gary Cheeseman was a big lad, yeah? A very big head. Sniper's dream, they used to call him. He's such a nice... The thing is, he's such a nice lad. And he was a...
I love these points in the show where we say, Bob, let's all gather round the fireside and you can tell us tales of your youth.
So the rules of the game. Of course you will not.
Theft
The
and
rules
Shrubbery.
of the game. Theft and...
Shrubbery.
Shrubbery. were relatively simple. You had to creep into the back of someone's house and observe the family watching the telly or whatever they're doing, yeah?
It's getting a bit sinister now, Bob.
Yeah, I know.
Is this at night?
This is on the evening time, yeah.
So the family, as it were, backlit by the domestic lighting.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you'd find one where the curtains were open, yeah? Go to the rear of the garden, and then you'd slowly walk towards the window, right? Try not to disturb them, and you'd chant, increasing the volume as you went, "We do beg your pardon." But we are in your garden. And then you gradually get closer and closer to the window, and as soon as you were seen, that's when shrubbery comes in.
Which was what?
You were not allowed to escape via the front of the property. You had to go across all the fences. Because you're teenage, what you're really waiting for is someone to make a noise or give yourself away, so that you all have to go run through all the gardens.
That's the shrubbery part.
That's the shrubbery
What's
part.
the theft part?
The theft is... We just always felt that we were stealing something from them. I don't know. Their privacy, their dignity.
So you're going up the garden saying louder and louder, "We do beg your pardon, we are in your garden." We do beg your pardon, we are in your garden. You're shouting.
How loud?
Elderly people who are hard of hearing, you could be going, "We do beg your pardon, we are in your garden," before they notice it.
Yeah.
This game can't have lasted, I'm imagining, very long before people kind of rumbled you and...
No, it was just one of the games, that we did. It could be Theft and Shrubbery night. There was another night where we used to take fruit from a fruit vendor's wagon and throw that up in the air and just let it drop on our heads.
It tells me you played that quite a lot, Bob. Next time, don't use melons.
Cheeseman was very good at it.
So what do you think, David?
Steve, what do you
My
think?
concern is that the details are so utterly believable and sound like they're real that if it wasn't actually a game, he spent an awful lot of time looking through people's windows.
I'm coming down on the side of truth.
Yeah, I know it sounds odd, but I just believe it.
You're going to say truth?
Yeah.
OK, so, theft and shrubbery. Bob, truth or lie?
I was telling the truth.
I've buried £1,000 in cash in a secret location in case I ever have to go on the run.
When did you hide it?
About 10 years ago.
Are you willing to say on national television exactly where it is?
No. I think I'll keep it double low, to be honest with you.
Well,
because if I'm on the run, it's going to be on top for me, and it'll be the first place they look, won't it? If I'm sniffing it. Not that I'm going to be on the run. I'm just saying that, I've buried a bag of sand, which is £1,000, right?
Right.
Somewhere, in case it comes on top.
What does that mean?
Somewhere?
No, on top.
If something happens illegal.
Oh, I thought you meant in case the money you haven't buried it deep enough and it will end up on top.
It's double low, you muppet. He said that.
Well, I don't know. If I don't know what low means in his thing, I don't know what double low is.
Well, you know it's twice as much.
I don't know what the starting point is. How much is low?
Well, low, double low's proper on top, right?
Don't forget, anybody watching, we do have subtitles. Use that red button.
What would you imagine that you could get into trouble for? We don't count acting.
Sorry. I like that reaction. It's a good reaction.
Right, so...
Healthy.
So, what kind of thing could you get into trouble for?
Well, numerous things. So, you need to just have a little stash somewhere.
Daddy, can I just check? Is this for crimes that... Not crimes.
I'm not talking about crimes.
I didn't say crimes.
No.
I didn't say crimes. Is this for murders that have taken place previously or things that might happen in the future?
Are you asking Danny to confess to crimes?
All right, so you think you might have to move abroad to start a new life?
Well, not abroad, Margate or something like that. Get off the plot, you know what I mean? No one goes here.
But how long could you last on a bag of sand?
Well, it depends where you are, Margate. You can last about 10 years, you know what I
And how did you bury it? Was it under cover of darkness?
No, it was in broad daylight. I wouldn't go at night, you know what I mean?
Why did you do it in daylight?
Well, because it's in a... well, I'm giving it away now, and I sort of...
You're not. It's not. I'm not going to go. Daylight. I think I know where it is. I know where it is. It's somewhere outdoors. I'll go and get it.
It's in an area of this, you know, ain't got no houses around and there's no gaffs about. It's...
Right, so you buried it in like a forest or something?
Not a forest, no, it'd be too tricky for me to go and find it. No, not a graveyard.
If I get it right,
that'd be out of order when they're digging up a grave and whacking a grave. No, it's a field.
A field?
In a field?
Ah. Presumably now you possess a treasure map.
No.
Well, how are you going to remember where it is?
It's about where I whacked my motor.
You've what? You killed your car?
No. I parked my car.
Yeah, but you drove your car away, though, didn't you, afterwards, so it's not still there. You do know that when you got back in the car and drove away, saying it's by the car is no longer a help.
I parked my car next to something that I will remember.
Ah, now, so you drove... What is that thing?
I'll tell you what it is.
Good.
No, I don't want to know.
Why?
Well, it might be next to a sort of Norman Wisdom statue, you know, and there's only a...
Whoa.
There's only a few of them knocking about, is what I'm saying. It's not near a Norman Wisdom statue. It's not...
No. You can't expect Danny to give away the location on television of where his bag of sand is.
No. So for a minute then, I really thought I was in some gangster film where he's gone, I've whacked it off and buried it near the Norman Wisdom statue.
Have you been back to check on it, to check it's still there?
No, it'd be stupid, wouldn't it? You know, it's there. No one's gone near it, I know that. It's impossible to find.
So what do you think, Lee?
What do we think?
Absolutely not.
Really?
No.
I say it's a lie.
1,000 wouldn't have been enough.
And I say it must be a lie.
You're going to say lie? OK. Danny, truth or lie?
It's a lie, innit? Come on.
Last year, I ate my Christmas dinner in the bath.
David, Steve.
But why?
Because we had quite a lot of family round, and I just wanted to be on my own because I was in a really bad...
Was it on a plate?
That's a horrible image, isn't it?
It was on a plate.
Hold on. So I'm just going to picture the scene, right? You've got your Christmas dinner on the plate, and you just get up to the table and you say, I'm just going off to the bath for a bit. And the family...
I don't think I announced it.
Oh, you didn't?
I was just so fed up with everyone. I just got up, took my dinner, went upstairs and thought, I'm going to have a bath.
But didn't you find it that you got really hot eating in the bath?
I could eat my Christmas dinner in a fire.
Where did you put the dinner when you were running the bath?
On the toilet.
On the toilet.
Did you allow the bath...
Not with... I mean, with a lid on and a nice little tablecloth. No.
Even so, I think it's a bit...
Do you?
It's just the associations, isn't it, of the two ends of the process.
It's like saying to the food, this is where you're going to end up, mate. We both know it. You know it, I know it.
You're going on an incredible journey.
Yeah.
Did you continue to eat your Christmas dinner while the bath was running, or did you pause in that process to sort of save it until you were nice and comfy in the bath?
I had a couple of sprouts, David.
Right. Did you have like a tray that goes over the side of the bath?
Yeah.
You can put the dinner on, or did you have to balance it on your knees?
I had to balance it.
On your knees?
Not necessarily.
If you're balancing it on a part of you, is there not a risk that it will become submerged at some point, which would ruin the dinner? Essentially, you're turning your Christmas dinner into the Maldives in about 30 years' time, when, you know, the bath water of the world starts to wash the sprouts towards the plug hole.
Well, I don't put enough water in the bath for that. In fact, you know, I don't hardly need to put any water in the bath.
OK. What do you think, David? What do your team think?
I think maybe you had a bath, but you didn't eat your Christmas dinner there.
Yeah, I can believe that Jo has had baths and has eaten Christmas dinners. I don't believe she's ever combined the two processes.
I think she might have done.
Oh, you think she might have done?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought we were heading towards consensus
No.
there, but in a very Christmassy way, we're very much at loggerheads.
Yeah, that's right.
I think, seeing as I feel a little bit 50-50...
Yeah.
Oh, no, that doesn't help at all, does it?
Well, no, it does. Because if you're 100% it's true and you're only 50% it's...
Who said I was 100%? I'm about 80.
All right. I'm going to need a pen. This is why I keep saying I need a spreadsheet. OK, we're going to say true.
So they're saying true. Jo, eating your Christmas dinner in the bath. Truth or lie?
It's a lie.
I once caused an injury to one man whilst trying to get a different man to say the word vegetables.
Please, team.
Right, just the word vegetables.
Yeah.
Do you really like the word vegetables?
Not as a general rule, no,
Okay.
but I liked it when this man said it.
Why? What was it about this man, the way he said vegetables, that was funny?
Did he have a speech impediment? Or...
No, he didn't. He was a very intense man, though, and he was also Austrian. I was with a friend once, and he was a colleague of ours, and I overheard him say vegetables, and we both found it incredibly funny.
So, can you just roughly give us an impression of how he used to say vegetables? Even just roughly?
He said it exactly like this. Yeah. Vegetables! And then we happened to be on a coach trip with him, and so we spent the whole coach trip trying to get him to say vegetables again.
Right, so where were you? Where were you going and how did you know
I was
him?
on a school trip. I used to be a teacher, so we were...
And he was a teacher?
Yeah, he was a teacher.
What did he teach?
He was the head of languages, and he was...
Head of languages? Yeah. The head of languages used to go... Vegetables!
Imagine I'm the man. OK, I'm on the coach, I'm sat, we're driving. Off you go.
So I said...
Yeah? You're very big, aren't you?
This isn't like him at all.
You're very big, aren't you? That's it.
So I was saying things like, I've been trying to keep fit lately, and I know that you're into keep fit. Would you recommend for a healthy diet? And he was going, well, I would... you must eat a balanced diet, you must eat greens, and you must enjoy some protein in limited... I was going, yeah, but, I mean, if you were to group some of those foods together... And he was going, well, I mean, yeah, you must have carbohydrates, of course, and you must have... And it was horrific. It went on for about an hour. And every time I tried to find a new angle for vegetables, his ludicrous Austrian interpretation of things led us down a dark alley. And it was literally an hour in the making.
And how did you finally get him to say it?
I honestly can't remember. It came out of nowhere, and he suddenly said it, and he said it with such passion. It was... He went, oh, well, of course you must have vegetables! I started biting my hand to stop myself from laughing. And my friend who was next to me, there's a jagged piece of metal at the front of the coach, and because it was so funny, just to remind you, vegetables, of course! And my friend saw the piece of metal and pushed his knee into it on purpose to stop himself from laughing. And blood started, spraying out of his... Started spraying out of his knee, yeah.
This is getting elaborate, this story.
And I'll tell you another detail. We went and did the trip, which was in Paris, and then after we came all the way back... all the way back to Calais, and I said to him, we put all the kids' passports in that hotel in Paris last night. Did you remember to... Because he was in charge of the trip. Did you remember to bring those? And he was standing up in front of the children on the coach, and he went, oh, Scheiße! And we had to speak to the port authorities and get permission to take the kids on without passports while he went back on his own. Can I tell you one more detail as well? We were also standing in the middle of Paris, under the Eiffel Tower. We'd been there for an hour, and the kids were all running around. And he came over and went, we must go, we are late for our next appointment. And I said, well, we should just make sure that all the kids are here. And he goes, yes, of course we should, yes. And he turned round and went, is everybody here? And all the kids went, yeah. He went, well then, we will move on. Vegetables!
What are you thinking, Lee?
I think it's true.
True from John.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I think lie. You are a fantastic actor, Mr. Greg Davies.
Well, so what are you going to say?
OK, what do we think, Alex?
I think you'll find I'm BAFTA nominated.
We're all BAFTA nominated.
False.
OK, we'll go lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. Greg. Truth or lie?
It is the truth.
While travelling around Europe, my friend and I came up with a scheme to make money on the beach.
Lee's team.
What was it?
It was jewellery. We used to sell jewellery.
What kind of jewellery was it?
It was earrings.
And where did you get the earrings from?
To be perfectly honest, we'd make them.
Oh, it's homemade jewellery. Here we go.
And where was the beach?
Where was the beach? It's right next to the sea. It was in Greece.
What was it about being on that beach? You thought, earrings?
I couldn't make donuts.
Okay. What did you make the earrings out of?
Well, I didn't make them. My friend made them.
And what did he make them out of?
Beads.
Now, this friend, Sean, what was his name?
Spud.
Spud?
Spud.
Yeah.
Was his name.
Spud the Jew. But my job was to sell them.
Oh, so you're the salesman. So give us a bit of pad. Imagine David he's on the beach in his thong, he's relaxing. Finally, he can be himself, OK? And you come along and you look at his ears, they're unadorned, you think, there's an opportunity. Off you go.
Well, the first thing, if he's got a thong on, I'd ask him to turn over. You can roll onto your back, please. And would you like me to rub a bit of cream into that area, because I don't think that's ever seen the sunshine. He wasn't... The target market isn't...
Well, Richard likes a bit of jewellery. You like jewellery around the neck, so sell them to Richard.
Are you having a nice time?
Yeah, I'm having a lovely time.
Do you want to buy some earrings?
Not really, no. What's wrong with me?
I'm turned over and everything.
Why not do this?
Spud! Help! What was Spud's real name?
Keith.
Why did you call him Spud? He always had a jacket on? What?
What are you thinking?
Judy, do we think that's truth or a lie?
I think it's a lie.
You're not...
I can't see him selling beaded earrings on a beach.
Would you buy anything from him?
No, nothing.
You know what I'm going to go? I think Judy's right.
Do you think it's a lie?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the team.
You're going to say lie. Sean, truth or lie?
True!